Marriage is not meant for boys and girls. That is a statement that people say to imply that in marriage, it's expected to be a union of men and women based on some sense of maturity. So in this video, I will be handling 4 things that actually groom us for maturity and in preparing us for marriage. The first one is culture. Now, when we talk about culture, I know culture changes with time and culture is different in different places. But it's good to note that culture actually molds us and grooms us for maturity and preparedness for marriage. For example, when our great-grandparents were growing up, back then in the African traditional culture, they would get married in their preteen years or just when they became teenagers. But when you look at how they used to be groomed, by the time someone is getting, for example, a lady is getting to that age where they would now get the rites of passage and be termed as women, they would be trained. By the time they are getting there, they would know what is expected of them as a wife. They would know if you have a child, this is what you should do. When you wake up for the family, you have to go fetch water, come home. If there are cows in the homestead, milk the cows, prepare breakfast, clean up, start preparing for lunch. If there is a farm, you go farm, and after you come back home, make sure the food that you had put in the in the pot, it is ready, serve people, go back to the farm. But even before that, you make sure you have food ready and already cooking in the pot for dinner. So that is, and men were also prepared in the same way. So by the time someone was coming to the age of rites of passage, which used to happen in the preteen years, around 10 years, 11 years, they were actually prepared psychologically on what was expected of them once they became married. Okay, culture has now changed, and I would say, like, now in our nation, I don't know about other nations, but now you'll realize the culture has changed to where people expect you to first go to school, finish primary school, finish high school, go to college, then get a job, then you are termed as mature enough to get married. So culture somehow grooms us to some extent to know when we are actually ready and mature to get married. The second one is experiences and how we are socialized. So life experiences somehow prepare us and mold us in helping us move from childhood to adulthood. For example, if you have had if you've been able to handle some sort of cash, some sort of money when you are growing up, it prepares you to manage money when you're actually the head of the family, when you are the mother or the father in a family. Some other life experiences could be, as a lady, how you were brought up. You were told you should learn how to cook, you should learn how to take care of the home. That is now not even culture, that is how you have been brought up. Although there are some experiences that could be negative, and what happens with these experiences, they don't make you mature, but they might make you not be ready for marriage. Probably a trauma you went through when you were growing up that could need some level of healing before you actually are ready to get married. Now, that is not about maturity, but readiness. So some experiences in life actually prepare us, or they may hinder us. Okay, and on socialization, you might find the people around you got married maybe in their early 20s. So that somehow makes you think that that is the age that is appropriate. For some people, the people around you got married in their early 30s, in their early 40s or mid 30s or late 20s. Like for my case, the fact that my mom got married at the age of 27, I know she would have gotten married earlier, but for some reason she had to wait up to 27. But that somehow informed my desire of getting married at the age of 27. Not because of 27 is anything, but somehow I had that desire, I want to get married at the age of 27, which is what happened. But you see, that is based on how I was socialized, the people around me. Okay, so those experiences and how we are socialized somehow groom us and prepare us for adulthood, for marriage. Okay. And just before I go to the third one, which is very important, if you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that whenever I post a video, you are able to be notified and you can continue getting more content on laying a foundation for marriage. The third one is God. God somehow plans our lives and grooms us and prepares us for marriage. Sometimes you might be thinking you are going through a delay, but probably God is preparing your partner as well. Maybe they are not yet ready for marriage. So somehow God brings people our way. God gives us experiences that prepare us for marriage, and not just in people but even in his word. As we read his word, we are able to know this is how I should treat someone, because basically in marriage it is a place that you are also being refined as you refine your partner. You learn what it means to love someone unconditionally. That you can only learn from the word of God. You learn about what is expected for a wife, what is expected in a man. Those are things that God trains us in his word, and even as we interact with other believers, and also when we listen to sermons, when we listen to men of God and women of God speaking to us, God brings people to us and experiences in our lives to prepare us and to help us be ready for marriage. The fourth thing is age. I know this is something that could be controversial and all, but I believe, although people say age is just a number, I believe that age comes with some sense of exposure and experience. The way a teenager would be thinking and about marriage and what is expected of them when they get married is very different from how a 20-something-year-old would be thinking about marriage. And it's also very different from how a 30-something-year-old would be thinking, because life gives you some sense of exposure, some experiences. As you grow up, you get experience in different things and different ways. And as you grow older, your reasoning, your understanding of things gets opened up, gets a bit more, I would call it more grounded and richer, yeah, because of age. So as much as people say age is just a number, I believe it is not just a number, and it somehow contributes into us getting mature and ready for marriage. So in all this, there is no one thing that actually matures us and makes us ready for marriage. All these things combined and other things that I've not mentioned just prepare us for maturity. And guess what? You may never feel 100% ready. So when you feel the prompting in your heart and you feel God is speaking in your heart as a Christian, he is saying this is the time, just move by faith. Marriage and making the step for marriage actually requires a lot of faith, because you don't know what you will meet at the other side of getting married. Once you get married, you don't know what you'll be expecting. And if you have not watched the video on signs that you are ready to start dating, make sure to watch it. It's linked here, and I hope to see you in the next video, and see you there if you'll be watching that video recommended. Thank you and see you.